nominated director who pretty much brought down the Cold War. And I was helping consult on a video about the Holocaust as a political scientist and an editor, and also having a background in film and television. And we had footage, okay? She had footage, and she was wondering if she should take it out of the edit. And I said, no, you got to keep it in, because we're not getting financed by any Christian organization or any Catholic organization. You got to keep that piece in. And the piece showcased black and white footage of Jesuit priests wearing swastikas putting Catholic Polish priests into the oven.
Right.
Catholic.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the Jesuits are pretty bad. Hey, Matt.
Okay, so I was working with her on that. The towers came down. I wrote a report. 4 weeks later, hey, you want to do this role? I did it. Now, it's being used as a ploy to discredit me, improving the Earth's non-curvature or curvature through an
well, and I see your point. I see your point.
Very interesting sequence of events that it would come down in your hands, John, the only other person pushing extended land theory, and they put you in charge of my model on art.
Well, nobody
used to be part of, and John LeBon allegedly gave you the footage.
No, he actually didn't. I swear to God he didn't. But nobody made me do anything. I see the evidence as I see it, and that's what I go by. And you know, I have always thanked you and appreciated you for waking me up. So, and let's just say, and we've only got a couple minutes, so let's just say, and I don't know if what you're saying is what you did in the past was a mistake, or if it's something that led you to where you are today. So
right now, it was to be used by you. You didn't contact me. And it's so pathetic.
Well, let's
that's
change.
The only thing they could use is a role I did on MTV and try to say I'm a gay porn actor.
Let's change the subject just for a second, because the original, the last
taking care of a sick woman.
The last
pathetic.
God Almighty.
You that you would do something like that.
The last
ready to do something like that.
The last conversation that I had with you had to do with a post that you had on chemtrails, which basically stated, anyone who says chemtrails is a patient. Now, there could be...
You believe they're fake?
Well, here's what I believe. I believe that we have the technology to run internal combustion engines on water vapor. There's an invention, you can look it up, by a man named Tom Ogle, Stan Meyer. They worked on a modified version of what's called the Winnipeg carburetor, which what it does is it injects a certain amount of oxygen in with the water into the combustion chamber. And what is water made of? Hydrogen and oxygen. And so as long as you vaporize that to the right degree and you have enough oxygen in the mix, that will actually combust inside the combustion chamber just like a quote-unquote fossil fuel, but the only exhaust is clouds. The only exhaust is low density water vapor. And so let's just hypothesize here for a minute. Let's say that Tom Ogle, who was found suicided in his trunk, the patents were actually bought up by, it was either GE or GM or one of these big corporations. Let's say that instead of bringing this technology to everyone in the world because they're raping us for the gas prices, but let's say that they let their inside buddies, you know, the big airline manufacturers or the big airlines who are all in, you know, on this whole super continental corporate conglomerate, let's just say that they let their buddies in on this technology. Now, first of all, I will say that I do know that they use aluminum for cloud seeding, and they use aluminum particulates to amplify the signal from HARP. But what I'm saying is I highly doubt that all chemtrails are containing that stuff, because of the fact that I believe 100%, 99% for sure that they're running their jets on nothing more than water, because it's free. They don't, all they have to do to fuel up is pump, you know, kerosene scented water in from the nearest lake. That's that's my hypothesis. That doesn't make me a shill or a liar. It just means there's alternative theories to them spraying everyone, including themselves and their children, with toxic chemicals.
Well, you say there's an agenda to do a gender swap, and you agree with me that there's agenda to sterilize and stop human reproduction as just a natural God-given right.
They do it through the food. Why do you think 9-year-old girls are growing C-sized breasts? There's estrogen, there's hormones in the food. They don't have to spray us, but they damn sure could get free fuel, and they would never tell us. And in fact,
food that's natural, they can spray it as well, so they'll get you prove even through spread. And second of all, there's no law that protects the natural state of air. There is no law.
Well,
There's no law.
until I see a triple blind study done by 500 independent investigators trailing behind 500 random, unplanned chemtrail planes, and the results are, scrutinized by 500 different scientists who don't know, which came from which, and let's see if there's, poisonous chemicals.
I'm working, my attorney that sent notice to Google to take down these smear videos that twist the context. And frankly, you're all right. You're okay to keep your video up. You've got comments behind you, fair use, because it's on the internet. But what the girl did, she recorded me without my consent. So it's a privacy rights violation.
I saw that, and I could tell that was a setup. I could tell. Hold on.
Chemtrails.
Whoa, hold on. Wait. Tell me if I'm right, but was she egging you on, and then hit the record button? Because it totally came.
We were going to do an interview, as she knew I was traveling, and she came back from Miami. Her boyfriend turned the power off in the house with me and my girlfriend. We went and stayed in Austin. Then we came back because the power went on. Then they shut the water off, and then we went back to Austin. So we stayed there maybe 10 days. And this was after a client attacked me in El Paso, probably because he got a robocall to intimidate him. And people that I'm doing work with right now are getting robocalls late at night going, "You are not to talk to Matt Boylan," freaking people out. I had one guy who finally had the courage to confirm my suspicion that my clients have been being intimidated for the last 10 years. And I asked this guy just last week, "At what point were you scared not to tell me?" He goes, "I was very close to not telling you and never speaking to you again. But something told me I got to tell you." Now, my attorney is working with Dane Widgington. He's the one that's doing an injunction on chemtrails. There's a gag order, for your information, on every journalist worldwide, by every government.
Right, but doesn't that perfectly fit the theory that they're getting their fuel for free and they'd never want us to know that because we've had this technology since the 60s? We could have been running our cars on water.
Well, I think the water thing is basically they don't.
Alrighty. What up, bro? You got some feedback, right? Actually.
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Just wanted to talk about some of the things that you said, obviously on Earth Discussions. I feel like it was kind of a wasted conversation over there because you're kind of talking to a group of people that are just very mainstream, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can get some great information from them, but at the same time, there's not many flat earthers that even touch that channel, so I think it needs to be said, really. And
yeah, I guess I misjudged the panel, or like I didn't realize that about that channel, so my mistake.
No worries. I mean, I was listening to it, and people were in my chat, so people definitely heard. At least some people, but like I said, my channel is watched at least by some flat earthers, and even in that video that I was just playing a Morgile, like Bob came on and was just saying we don't question his his whatever, and he doesn't seem to be acting and all this kind of stuff, and you kind of say, I don't know, I always had this weird feeling. Mostly I unsubbed him, but I watched his video about 2 months ago or something, and watched 2 of his videos in a row. And what I saw was him basically like revelation of the method, basically telling people that this is an act, and people want him to play the act and the whole NASA thing. And so I guess for the audience, this is Channel Q, and obviously you know him on a more personal level. So go ahead and say whatever you want.
Oh, I don't know. I just could repeat what I said on the other channel mostly, just to say that, like Math is he's a actor, and he's doing like a satire, like a parody of a person, like Math Powerland. And, he had made his first ever flat earth video in 2011. It was called the first flat earth video or something like this, title, something like that. and then subsequently several other movies. But then, like, I don't even know for sure what year it was. I think it was 2014. Then, all these other channels came out with Flat Earth. The first thing they did was they were like, let's go meet Powerland in real life and get him on our shows, and then we'll sabotage his character and his credibility, and then we'll take everything he says and everything that he's doing and everything that it is, and we'll repackage it as something real and then sell it to people. That's how I see what happened, and that's basically all I'm just trying to say.
But yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, you have to probably agree that, for him to come out, and you just heard obviously Bob say, he really believes this guy and believes his credentials. And a lot of people did. A lot of people use that appeal to Matt Boylan fallacy, where, he was the flat earther that was, got the NASA inside scoop, and so this has fueled a lot of thoughts in people's heads, and without him, maybe flat Earth wouldn't be what it is. And I mean, even Morgile, he just said that he was woke up, quote unquote, woke up by this guy. So really, there's a fine line between like creating something and then having people like latch onto it and make money, or just really like, not doing that at all. So how really do you justify that, his actions?
Was a great man. George Carlin was a great man, and he woke me up to a lot of things. That's how I justify it.
Yeah, but he was talking the truth. He wasn't spitting the flat earth nonsense.
He was saying that I have slave owners. He said, I have slave owners. They own me. Do I? Is that true? Or is it an exaggeration?
It's no, it's philosophy. Some people, I even talk to them a lot. They say
why is it different for math? Why isn't it philosophy for math? What's the difference?
Because this is a different subject, and this is a whole different.
Sell anything but a teacher.
Hold on, let's have each other talk. Let's let each other talk.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Maybe I'm still a little bit uppity.
I would be too, because you just get attacked, and that's what happens. So really, the people that created the Bible, just say that, the people, the individuals that had their hands all over it. There's been a lot of war and a lot of people that have died because of that text, and maybe they were in on the secret of it, or it was all bullshit and they just completely, it was just a text that they wrote. So don't you agree that in a way the people that create madness are basically kind of responsible for it in the end?
I think that people are not responsible for the actions of other people. I think people are only responsible for their own actions. Okay, so and I also feel that you have to learn from mistakes. You won't know it's a mistake until you find out the hard way. It's just the way the whole human race is developed that way. They have to make mistakes. They had to realize, slavery was wrong. Well, how are they going to realize it was wrong until we went through it? I mean, maybe we didn't have to, but we did. And that's how we learn. And that's how we learn everything in life, is by making mistakes. So, I mean, I guess that's the best I could answer that.
So do you agree, though, that like if it's recognized as a mistake, maybe that he could really come out and fix this mess that he has created?
Does George Carlin have to come out and admit that he made a mistake?
This is a totally false equivalency. Really, the subject is the flat Earth sophism psyop Trojan horse meme, and this person lied. He lied and continues to lie for years, okay? Not just a week or 2 weeks and, hey, I fooled you, April Fools. This is a con. This is a year or several years of a con that he knows that what he's doing. He's playing with people with puppet strings, and you're trying to justify it because he's your friend.
Entertaining you. That's what he's doing. He's entertaining you. He's entertaining you.
No, I really like I don't think this is entertaining.
What has he ever made anybody do? Did he make anybody drink piss? Does he tell anybody to cut themselves? Does he tell anybody to do anything? Does he sell anybody anything?
He sells the idea. Not only that, he also sells this chemtrail bullshit where, we're all eating chemicals and we're all...
Part of his character's script. It's part of his character's, his character's background, and, that's what
he's playing a character in real life that is potentially ruining people's life.
In real life. You just think maybe he's in like that in real life because he shows a lot of like videos where he sits around and talks to his friends about this stuff in character. Because he's doing a low budget entertainment parody of what it's like to be an eccentric artist who's also very conspiratorial minded.
So why doesn't he come out and say that though? Because he doesn't want to fool.
Why doesn't George Carlin come out and say he exaggerated?
We're not talking about George Carlin. We're talking about the flat Earth meme.
Yeah, I feel it's a very, very equal thing.
No, it's not.
About entertainment. We don't make actors come out after they do a movie and go, I was lying the whole movie. I'm not really super.
No, because it's known. They're acting. It's known. Okay.
Well,
this guy has said to thousands and thousands of people.
It's your problem. See, you mistook it. It's your fault. It's not his fault that you didn't realize that it was entertainment.
So you don't have any problem with anybody lying and playing a con on people?
People lie all the time. I don't feel like Math Powerland conned me out of anything. He didn't take any money from me. He didn't con me into doing anything or changing my life in any way. He entertained me.
Okay, I'm not talking about you, but don't you see the aftermath of what he's said and what people now are doing?
Other people are not responsible for the actions of other people. They're only responsible for their own actions.
Yeah, well, I disagree because there's a certain responsibility that people have, just like you were saying about Glowbusters. You're mad at Glowbusters because they're telling 1,000 people this nonsense, but you're going to stick up for this clown that really perpetrated the nonsense to begin with.
I'm not mad at Glowbusters. I find it despicable what they do. I don't like that they tell.
Why is it a double standard, though?
I don't like. I'm going to get there. Okay. I don't like that they try to sell false science as real science. I don't like that they misrepresent themselves by putting them in a science category and a political category. I find that disingenuous of them because they should also be considered entertainment. But they don't. They want to be taken more seriously. They want to be more credible than that. Okay, so I find these are my problems with Glowbusters. And also my problem with Glowbusters is how they, basically got this idea from Math and then, decided to discredit him by saying he was a gay porn star and all kinds of petty tactics so that they could be the stars of Flat Earth.
Glowbusters actually was not against what he did. Bob actually stuck up for Math and said that he disagreed with Morgile. It was Morgile's problem. So it wasn't Glowbusters.
Yeah, in that video maybe, but in other videos maybe not.
Okay. Well, I have been following it pretty closely, but it's hard to follow all of the 24/7 hour fucking gish gallop that happens in this whole thing. It would be beyond a full-time job. It would be impossible. So I do sense that you are sticking up for your friend, and your logic is swayed by that, and you're going to basically have a double standard in that this guy literally is lying to people for years. And you're okay with that, but you're disgusted at. Okay, well, what if they're not acting? How is it different, or how is it even better that he's acting? He knows it's false, and they really believe it because of him. Which one's worse?
What would be worse is if somebody acted out a true story but told it as a lie.
But look, I just had an email from Jaron yesterday. All right, a long email. He told me how him and his wife found the flat Earth and how he thinks the Earth is flat. Okay. And I for the life of me, I want to believe him and I want to think that he's a good guy, but I just personally, I think that he's smarter than that. But, some people go down that rabbit hole and maybe he really does believe this. Maybe he really does believe that NASA's doing this bullshit. And, Bob, I talked to him today, obviously. And he says, I do believe it. I do believe it. So, these people are now believers because of the same kind of acting that you're sticking up for. So, I fail to see your logic in this, my friend.
That's their responsibility. That's their responsibility. You can vouch for this, Tim. They're obviously not doing legitimate research, and they've convinced themselves. Math is not telling people that the Earth is, magnetics and there's no gravity and all this stuff, He's acting as a character. These people are presenting that stuff as it's true. They're convincing themselves. That's not Math's fault. That's not my fault. It's not your fault. They're deciding to twist all the evidence in order to make themselves believers.
No, I really think that if you're
all the time about them, people who are skeptical and people who know that the earth is a sphere point that out all the time, that they deny the evidence, that they twist the evidence so that they can maintain their beliefs. That's the difference.
Yeah, but we're talking about dogmatism here, and it's a projected dogmatism by people like Matt, who created a story that they believe in, a story. So they believe in his lies. So I think that the right thing to do, if I was Matt Boylan at this point, is to come out and say, "Hey, I'm an actor." Not encode his videos. Hold on. I understand his videos are encoded. I mean, I'm like, wow, is he really telling me this right now? Is he really? Does nobody really notice this? So I understand that, but like we're not everybody's on the same level here, and most flat earther, the believers, are not even close to this level. So he's playing them a fool. It doesn't really matter if he's just selling a shirt or his girlfriend's jeans that they fucked in or whatever. I mean, there's something. You have to see that this is wrong. This is not something right to do. Make people believe in something so false that ostracizes them in real life. It's not right.
I have not really stated an opinion on whether or not I think it's wrong or right. I'm just stating an opinion that it's not uncommon, and it happens actually quite regularly with this sort of media and entertainment and news. I mean, it's just the way the world is.
If everybody was to use that excuse, it's just the way the world is. I mean, I guess that's kind of why we live in the world that we do.
Exactly. And people do. People spend more time pointing the finger at other people instead of being the change that they need to be in the world. And that's, part of the reason why things don't change. But when we make mistakes, I have faith, and I've seen in the past with human history, when we make mistakes, we tend to learn from those mistakes and then improve ourselves in, technology or social attitudes in so many ways. So I have faith that if this is a mistake, which it does seem to be one, we will all have learned a great lesson from this.
Well, it doesn't seem that he has learned any lesson, because he continues to put on an acting show to trick people in real life to believe things that are untrue. Okay?
Behind the scenes, I think Math he's not reveling in all of this, and I can vouch for that.
Is he a Jesuit? Did he go to a Jesuit school?
I can't even speculate on that. I wouldn't have any idea.
Well, we have information on it. We looked way into him 2 years ago on my Flat Earth and Other Psyop Potatoes, and there's some interesting art.
I don't know if that's necessarily exactly relevant to everything, because I mean, I don't see how him being a Jesuit matters.
Well, for some people, they do question people's intent and why they continue to do this. And for some reason, it does seem, for many reasons rather, it does seem like some kind of a psychological operation, at least to discredit any kind of truth community at all.
This point, Math would just like to be able to sell the t-shirts he ordered when he thought that this was going to be accepted as entertainment, and then, be something like, what George Carlin did. And now it's a mess, and he would just like to sell the t-shirts that he has.
Yeah, I guess you may have asserted that you haven't really said either way if you think it's good or bad, but your attitude and your logic definitely shows that you have a sway, and that's fine. We all have friends, and I stick up for my friends, and blah blah blah. But you have to understand that as a friend, me personally, if I was in your situation, and you don't have to do anything, I'm just saying, if I was in your situation, I would definitely say that express my feelings about this situation and not be so biased. Go ahead.
Can I bring up an analogy in history, in American history, an analogy for the situation?
I find that no analogy will make any relevancy in this matter, because we're talking about this flat Earth thing that I've been fighting against for over 2 years because of a person like Math, who comes out and makes up a story and about NASA and all this shit, and people believe him. And so I've been trying to help people, just like I do in my real life, And you know, they're such true believers because people continue to do this. People continue. If these top people started to fall off, the flat Earth, the whole community, the whole 24/7 live flat Earth bullshit would probably cease. But now we have a huge step in the ODD propaganda network, where we're looking at some kind of a George Orwellian 1984 propaganda network where they all can hang out and ban anybody that has anything to do with the globe, and sit there and learn flat Earth arguments all day long. Just sit there and be advertised to. I mean, these people are blinded by this dogma, and I fail to see how you can rectify his actions in any way, and really, furthermore, that you can.
Well, Tim, can I just interject now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tim, I followed your work, and I totally respect you, and I totally agree with you. Okay, and all your videos to me are what I would like to say. So I'm in a strong agreement with you, and I don't hold it against you. Anything you make fun of math to me, it doesn't bother me. Okay, I'm not offended by that. Okay, and I do not assert that there is nothing wrong with this. So please stop trying to ask me how I can assert that there's nothing wrong.
Well, you're excusing it away, though.
I'm not trying to excuse it away. I'm not trying to make any excuses for anything. I'm just stating the fact of what it is, and it is what it is. And what it is it was a parody, and then there are other people who came in and tried to turn it into real, and they're the ones that are profiting the most.
Yeah, really, it's not about the profit margin to me.
They don't only do this with maths work. I mean, they do this with 1984. Well, George Orwell wrote a book about 1984, and now that's the truth too. That's part of their dogma. So they've just pulled in things all around through pop culture to incorporate into their dogma, and math just happened to be one of those things that got pulled into that net.
Yeah, I think that he not only he perpetrated this. He helped perpetrate this with people like Eric Dubay and Mark Sargent.
He may have given them the idea, but they created the net after the fact. Okay, so I'll agree.
I'm not discounting that, but that's not my point. I don't care.
He wanted to entertain people. He had an idea. He came out with an idea. He played a part. It was really good. People enjoyed it, and then this happened. It wasn't mass fault that these other people came out and chose to do the things they chose to do.
But we're not talking about other people right now, okay? We're talking about his actions and his continued actions. If it was something where he just came out with a video, a week ago and admitted this, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But it's the very fact that he continues up with this game that he plays with ignorant people that are true believers to this meme.
Everybody here is continuing this game.
I'm not. I'm trying to end it.
Yes, you are, Tim. No, you are definitely continuing it.
I'm ending it.
This is not an end to it. This is just another twist and another turn.
What I do is take the serpent...
As the potato turns. See, this is just another chapter in the great saga of the flat Earth.
I know, but if more people were like me that stood up to this nonsense, then it would get smashed. It really would, because you have to do the flat Earth research.
I stand up to this nonsense.
Well, where have you been?
I've been here all along. I've been in people's chats. I've been watching people's videos. I've been commenting on people's videos. I've tuned into Globebusters. I've watched all your videos. I've subscribed to your channel. I've watched almost everything that Jed has ever put out. I'm here. I've spoken to Jake Gibson on the phone. I know TSN. I know math. Now I'm speaking to you. I was just the other day explaining why you can't have buoyancy without gravity. I'm right here. I've been here.
Look, just let me go on that tangent really quickly.
I had a conversation with Jeff Stewart way back a long time ago. I've been here.
Yeah, I've been around and I haven't seen much of you for some reason. I've seen a little bit of you. You popped up a few times in my videos. But the thing about this with you and PMAR saying you can't have gravity without density, and you guys have got to understand that really, if you are looking at it completely objectively, these are explanations that they have put forth in a mathematical construct. So really, there could technically be a different explanation for these forces, but it's just
Yeah, and that wouldn't be like one of those twists and turns I was talking about in the saga, right?
well, I think that I think that we're making waves. At least I am. I'm talking to the people, and I'm
Yeah, we're making waves. We're causing hype. You know,
well. If you think about
hype.
it, I mean, they're always talking about me. Dell had a video with almost 3,000 views yesterday talking about me. Then I had the IPS. He's almost got
And that could be,
2.5.
you know what, Tim? That could be just as suspicious as you like to use it as credible, because I remember Mark Sargent used to beg all the time. He used to be like, "When are we going to get our great flat Earth villain? The story needs a villain. We need a villain, and you are an excellent flat Earth villain,
Yeah, I was
Bob."
always there. Yeah, well, that's it. It's a double-edged sword, but you know what? When it comes to getting the information out to the people, I'm a gorilla, and I do it the best, and that's why I do what I do, and I don't need to walk on eggshells for anybody.
Well, you are definitely one of my favorite meme artists.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if the word gets out from this video, I don't understand. Like, are you gonna be in trouble with him, or is he gonna come out and say something, or is he just gonna continue this whole charade that he does?
I'm not a psychic, so I can only speculate. I would hope that he wouldn't be upset with me. I did speak to him about it. I did tell him that I was going to say stuff, and so he knows. So I mean, he wasn't upset with me when I said it. So I mean, if he's going to get upset with me now, I mean, I can't control other people. Whatever. I don't really want to make like something out of this. I just wanted to let everybody know that this is, a piece, and whatever. I'm nobody. I don't want to be anybody. I'm just saying, like, I feel like this is getting out of hand. It's too much now. You know what I'm saying? And just like you're saying, you want to end it. I do too. I would like to see it just end now.
I do. And really what it takes is some of the leaders, like I'm saying, to come out and say, hey, for Matt Boylan in his case, say, hey, this was an acting and blah, blah, blah. And for others like Glowbusters and Jerry, to finally figure out that, you can't just say all this word salad garbage for things that already work and think that you just proved something. So in the case of two celestial points, like I just talked with Bob today, he's going to say, oh, that's the electromagnetic flux lines of the gravity flux. I mean, it's just complete word salad. And so
Yeah, and that's exactly why on Earth Discussions the other day, I found it so helpful when George and Kara were explaining to me these terms that Bob uses, that I feel that he's misusing and misrepresenting, but I just don't know. And they explained it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, now I could have an argument with Bob, whereas before I don't even fucking know what he's talking about, okay?
Yeah, but the thing is
It doesn't make sense.
in a debate, in a formal debate, you don't have to know their word salad and all their little bullshit. Really, he would have to somehow justify that claim. I mean, how do you what satellite data? Like you guys, like Cami, when you guys made the little map, and it was from satellite data, and satellites don't exist, or they do exist, or they're wandering stars, or whatever. Who knows?
What an obvious contradiction. So, I mean, what do you want me to do about that? I can't, what these people are making their own choices. And if you wanted to think that the earth is flat, you want to release it to the world, how about you figure it out first without a doubt, and then release it?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you wouldn't be doing sun tracking and further. I mean, you would be, but at the same time, you wouldn't say that you proved it and then be like, we got to do this sun tracking that totally proves the globe. First of all, I mean, how
They
hypocritical.
did figure that out about the moon. They did figure that out about the moon, and they went out of their way to shut people down, flat earthers who wanted to track the moon.
Well, what do you mean about the moon? How it's flipped, or what?
Yeah, well, if you track the moon, you're going to find out. I mean, how are you going to explain what the moon is doing?
No, it's perspective, dude. How are you gonna fucking explain obstruction and the sun setting and all this stuff without?
Don't control me right now. I'm so not. No,
do you know when I'm being facetious and actually trying to have a conversation with you? I'm not actually against you. I'm actually against the ideas of perpetrating these things. So, no worries. I'm not at you, but yeah.
Okay, I'm not taking offense to anything you're saying, Tim. I'm just enjoying the conversation.
Nice. now that we have that out of the way. Yeah, I just we're gonna have to agree to disagree that you think that I guess you're not really saying it's wrong or okay, but you did make a lot of excuses for
I'm not
him.
going to say I'm not going to say, you know, that it's okay. I would not say that. I do not think that it is
So
okay at all.
say, what is it then?
But I just feel that it's just like we're not perfect beings, dude. We keep making mistakes, okay? So and this isn't uncommon, and it's not unrelated related to something like what George Carlin did. And it's and also these people aren't just using math; they're using 1984. They're using so many. The was a funny thing happened on the way to the moon. They're pulling all kinds of media and pop culture into their dogma. So I mean anything can get pulled into this. Anything.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. Really, the paradigm was given by a select few people, and one of them was Matt Boylan. Agree or
Well, he
disagree?
was the one. I would say no. I disagree. Matt Boylan is the one who introduced it in 2011, and then in 2014 or 13, I'm not sure. It's when the other people came in and
Yeah, so I mean,
basically
he was pretty much one of the
targeted
first.
him and then used his material in the way that you see them using it now, and you see what's come from their way of using it is completely. They've got people where they're telling people they got a whole guy, he's crazy and he's telling people to cut themselves and they support him. And then these people are hostile and this stuff. That's not what's going on with
So,
Matt.
hey, let me ask you a question. So, if you were friends with Quasi-Luminous, and he was actually just playing a
I would
role,
not.
just completely acting, would you feel the same way about that? And where do you
Not,
draw the line?
no, I would not. I would not. That guy.
So, where do you draw the line?
Not my cup of tea.
He's cutting himself. The flat Earth basically just ostracized themselves and basically led them down a rabbit hole for years and years. So, a little bit of cutting and a little bit of mental or
They tried to do that with Marilyn Manson too, because he actually
let's
did
stay on
cut himself
topic.
on stage in front of people, and then his fans were cutting themselves and cutting his name into their bodies, and they tried to blame him for that, and they tried to sue him for that, but the courts found that he could not be held accountable for that. But he did have to stop, obviously, cutting himself.
So what do you think in the regard about Matt Boylan, though, what I just said?
Well, I mean, I'm saying, and nobody's perfect. This is not a good thing. It should stop. And I'm just saying that I don't think that Math Powerland is like, he's not the one who's telling anybody to treat themselves that way. Math Powerland is trying to teach people to or not teach, but he's like, his character has a strong urge for family and purity and kindness and respect. So he promotes a lot of that with his character about wanting to find a good woman and have children and pass on his legacy of being such a good artist and these sorts of things. He says a lot of that in his videos.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, ultimately, his character
he never tells anyone
is
to
lying.
go to therapy or cut themselves. He actually has made statements in his videos against that stuff.
Yeah, but ultimately he's lying for years and years to a group of people that actually think he's serious, right?
And then we can say the same is true of any.
No, we're talking about Matt Boylan right now.
What people take serious is their choice. What people don't take serious is their choice.
Okay, so like I said, at the end of the day, he's lying for years to thousands of people that believe in his lies, correct?
No. He's an actor.
So if I was just an actor and I acted for, just to say the most wildest things, like to go kill yourself, where the fuck are you going to draw the line?
How about Saw movies where we get a serial killer and we make him the star of the movie? He's the most intriguing character and he's the most sadistic, disgusting person, and people love that stuff and they flock to movies to watch it. And sometimes, occasionally, somebody's influenced to behave that way by that movie or a violent video game or whatever we want to blame it on. I mean, people make choices based on what they want to do. And there are all kinds of influences in the world to sway them this way or this way. It's all what they want to do. If they want to take something and interpret it completely wrong to support a totally crazy idea, then they can do that.
So if you're acting, you can just lie to people, and it's just acting, right?
Well, I don't really like actors because I do feel that they are liars, and I really don't like it when they reenact such things like true events, and then they make it all sensationalized and romantic, and I just feel like it's a spit in the face to any real victims of any.
You know, of the 15 questions I've probably asked you, I think I may have gotten the direct answer of one of them. But hey, that's all right with me. Like I said, he's obviously got your heartstrings or whatever. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's lies. It's lies.
That right there, that makes me totally confident in the fact that you are just continuing the saga.
I'm ending the saga, my dear. This is nonsense.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it ends.
Well, truthfully, really, it's.
And we'll see if when it ends, if everyone says, "Oh, Tim Osmond, he's the one who took down the flat Earth."
Well, you can't have the flat Earth without Tim Osmond. Let's just say that. If there's ever a story written, if there was ever a movie about the 2014 psyop called The Flat Earth, Tim Osmond would be the character.
Maybe you're the one who gave the idea to Math then in the first place.
Quite possibly, if we're going into conspiratorial.
You're the one who hired Math to be the actor.
That'd be excellent, actually. Just for my own entertainment, really I do pull the strings, and that's why I am around, because it is fun to watch, and it is fun to just be myself and talk to these people and just watch how angry they get with me for being myself. So really, at the end of the day, I really am entertaining myself, but at the same time,
at the end of the day, you really are a troll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. In real life, too. But I'm very informative with my information, at least. And anybody can go and look up what I'm saying, go and observe what I'm saying. And if they want to believe otherwise, that's totally fine. I'm the one that, has a few of the observable arguments that would lead.
You know what? You say Jed has an ego, but damn, Tim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, this is my...
I'm the one. I heard you say that 4 times in a row.
Oh, I am. But no, this is my online persona. I have to be this. I'm acting, okay? But I'm not lying. There's a big difference.
Okay, you go with that, dude. You go.
Hey, as long as I'm truthful and I'm acting and it's satirical, that's why, my channel's small, but like I always deleted them after about 200 people. And then the people that knew me would find me, and I would just have way better comment sections, just like the people that I wanted to see my videos. But then I did want to reach out more to this crowd, because I see them being led down the wrong path. And I just, if we're going to have to ad hoc fallacy everything that we can observe here, then you know what? Live in your flat earth delusion for the rest of your life. But the thing is these people will never take down NASA. They will never prove the flat earth, because it's just not the objective truth. And I think a lot of people are starting to come to their senses. So, I can only do so much for the willingly and willfully ignorant. But the people with ears to hear definitely do hit me up. And I've been getting a lot of people that do hit me up. And they, I don't get many comments on my videos. I have just ghost people that watch my videos. But there has been a lot more comments lately, and I've had them.
I watch your videos, but I probably only comment on maybe 2 or 3, out of 7 that I might have seen.
Nice, yeah. I like that's why I make them, actually, because I get a lot of good comments and other people's ideas, and truthfully, I wouldn't make the videos if I didn't get those comments. So it does help. And I do love the flat earth comments too, because it's just so telling. I'm sitting here saying things that we all can observe, and they come in and they just say the nastiest things to me, and it just shows, we all can learn here on multifaceted, not just the shape of the earth, but we're learning a whole psychological, sociological aspect to humans. We're learning,
Absolutely.
yeah, a groupthink mentality. We're learning about echo chambers. We're learning about dogma, and this whole mental exercise for me was great. Actually, truthfully, it was a big eye opener for me. It helped me with my conspiratorial bias, and now I know to really check my sources on everything, and go and be the diligent researcher, and go to the shack guy or whatever, the clues forum, not the clues forum, God, the debunker, metabunk. Go over there and go see what they're saying, because I remember 3 years ago I wouldn't go do that. I would just strictly watch conspiracy videos, and my mind was totally tunneled into that whole world. I was going down the fucking rabbit hole, and I was never coming back, dude. And this flat Earth, I was like, no way, man, no way. And if it was true, I would be a diligent and a crazy fighter in this. I would be. I would want to. I fight for the truth, and I fight for the people that think that they're telling truth to really know the truth, to really understand that they don't understand the globe model from learning it in school. We there's so much that we all have learned about the globe Earth model, but the truth is that it's there to be learned. It's all there.
Basically like this, Tim. Basically like this. If the whole world forgot, if we lost everything and we forgot, and we didn't have any of the evidence anymore, and we didn't have any scientific journals anymore, we didn't have any more space magazines or sci-fi movies, and we had nothing. If it was reduced to rubble and just a few, and it went on for generations and we forgot, okay? Let's say something like that happened. We would find out again. We would find out again that the Earth was a sphere, even if the whole of civilization forgot. Because it's true. And that's what we will always find.
Yeah, and that's why I think that they kind of spit on the ancestors when they just say, "Oh, let's appeal to the ancestors, since they had the technology or whatever." But they think that all of our ancestors were just flat earthers. They just knew it was flat. But really, I dug down, and they were looking at the stars and they were figuring shit out. I mean, that's why we have like such astrology, like such life in it. I mean, it's basically the Bible thousands of years ago. That's proof that they were looking at the stars and naming stuff. So it's amazing that they just think that literally, some of them think that the whole like moon landing was basically for them to go and get this quote unquote picture of the globe, when really we've known it. And
that's flat Earth. That's flat Earth mantra. That's part of their manifesto. You know what I'm saying? That's part of what they have made themselves believe by discrediting one thing and crediting another thing.
Yeah, it's ultimately very.
When I first started talking to Math, we were talking about this sort of thing where people are just obsessed with this idea of Armageddon and an end to the world. And the whole infinite plane idea is more of a metaphor for there being no end to the world, so that people stop having that mindset that one day the world is going to end. Do you see what I'm saying? And that was sort of like the metaphor that we started incorporating into it, was to say that it was an infinite world. You know what I'm saying? But it's also like a character, so it hasn't really been able to reach its conclusion either. So
when's the third act? When's he coming out and saying that?
I don't know. I don't know.
It needs to happen, man. I would, if you talk to him at all. Like I said, I personally would, just because there's a lot of people that. And we see.
I don't know. Maybe I could call him. I don't know. Could I call him and you guys could be able to hear him?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I should do that. I feel like I should tell him to.
Yeah, tell him. Like, just.
And then maybe I could come on a hangout and I could talk to him on the phone, and then he would be able to hear you and you'd be able to hear him.
Yeah, we could do something like that sometime if you want to do it in a couple days or something.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because he's doing a lot of painting and stuff.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's not really a good reason to me to just you'd be like, oh damn, I bought a bunch of shirts and I need to continue this until I sell it on my shirts or whatever, you know.
Well,
I
it
mean,
was supposed to be something different. This whole thing wasn't supposed to be like this.
yeah, I know that, you know, hindsight's 2020, but then again, like you're saying, well, people learn from their lessons, and learning from their lesson doesn't have anything to do with going on for years and years acting and lying and continuing to perpetrate this. So I know we're going to disagree on that, and you know,
I just see it the same as anything that any comedian that ever inspired me, or like even music. If I listen to Pink Floyd and they have an album called Animals where they have dogs and sheep
people
and
go to a
and they break it
comedian.
down,
People go to
and
a
it's all like
comedian.
this
Hold on,
metaphor and this exaggeration
hold on, hold
for
on, hold on, hold on,
and
hold
that's
on.
how we all are influenced to be open-minded, is by these kinds of artists that make us think, and they challenge us, and they give us a different view of something, and then we kind of look at it and we see it from there and we go, is it? But then we relax usually.
Okay,
Usually
but
we
when
relax.
people want to be entertained, they go to the movies or whatever. They're watching an actor. It's known that he's an actor. When
Yes, we don't
people
have a lot of
hold on. When
money for the
people
movie to go
are
to movies.
when people are you know, wanting to laugh, they go to a comedian. They know he's on stand up and blah blah blah. So what the difference here is this guy comes onto a conspiracy meme and completely perpetrates the meme and continues to perpetrate the meme. And this is not applicable in
Matt
any
did
way
stand up
towards a comedian, an
before
actor,
this
or
that
anything.
wasn't related to flat Earth.
What?
Matt did stand up before this. Matt was a stand up comedian. He did stand up before this.
Yeah, but
That
that's
wasn't
neither here
related
nor
to
there.
flat,
That's
but
not
it
what I'm
wasn't
saying.
related to flat Earth. So this is just another one of his artist endeavors.
I gotcha. Well, like I said, we're gonna disagree on that, and at least you have the guts to come out and maybe tell a few people. And you know, in this realm, your words are going to be taken with a grain of salt, of course, because these people are so suspicious of everybody and so conspiratorial minded. So you know, maybe somebody will be like, yeah, 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 I always thought he was, and really, like I said, the revelation of the method was brilliant. It's so brilliant that when somebody like me watches it, and I'm like questioning myself, like, is he trolling me, dude? Is he trolling me? Like that is some pro ass shit. And then you pile on that you do it for years, like you stay in this actor shit and do it all the time when you're on camera. That's pretty impressive on one end, but you know, mostly if it would be cool if it was for something that didn't result in this. Is all I'm saying. Like this is
Well, thank you for that, Tim. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
this is so detrimental to, I think, the whole truth or meme or whatever. Like anybody that has any question about the government or any of the actions therein or whatever, I think that they're going to start tarring people with the same brush, you know, because, oh, you're a piss drinking flat earther, eh? You know, they're pushing this out in the mainstream and they're loving it, man. But truthfully, you know, I don't believe that Matt was the complete proprietor of this, even if he was one of the first uh, persons to do this. I think that there's more involved here. Maybe even with him, possibly. Maybe there's more going on with him that you don't even know. But there seems to be a different influence in somebody.
I
Definitely,
don't pretend to know everything. I just only know
yeah,
my part.
yeah, and really, just like Morgal said, like he's playing the gay guy here. You know, how could he not be putting an act on for, you know, us here? And so this guy, he's a fucking lifelong actor and a 2 year or 5 year fucking flat Earth actor. So, you know, a lot of the shit that he told you is probably lies. You're muted.
Yeah. What are you getting at again? Can you just repeat that?
I was just saying that it kind of like what Morgal was saying, how he was an actor and he did this gay thing, like he could be acting on us right now with this whole thing, basically. And so he is obviously doing this act that you know of him doing because you're privy to it, you know him. But then again, I think that he could also be putting on several acts with you and your friendship, because that's what people do when they're narcissists and they're possibly psychopaths and
Okay. Okay.
great
I
actors.
understand.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand what you're saying there. So then I want to respond. So then I say, okay, that may be, and it would be unfortunate. But we'll only have to see what people choose to do from here on out, I guess, and what their actions will speak for themselves.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's cool that you came out and said this. I mean, it is a bit late, but then again, really, Matt isn't. Maybe he did fuel the fire, but he's not that big. He doesn't put out that much content, and it's not good content. It's just him waffling on with his acting bullshit. But
Thank you.
it's entertaining though. Like he's playing a conspiratard. They're listening.
Absolutely. It's really, I find it very entertaining, but I have a weird taste. So I mean, you can judge me on that if you want to, but yeah, I find him entertaining.
Yeah, like I totally would, but like this whole truth community and this destruction of everything, and these people that have just become so dogmatic over this idea that they've pretty much lost themselves completely in 24-hour hangouts about flat Earth. Like I said, hindsight's 2020, but who could have predicted this would happen? Seriously.
Possibly Nostradamus.
Yeah, seriously, no one could have predicted this on so many facets, and furthermore, like the awakening that the quote unquote truthers that went into this whole flat Earth meme, and really it was only for me.
Matt, he made a statement in another video where he was totally against this whole no trees on flat Earth. He thought that was total bullshit. He said, "Why are you letting the charlatans lie to you and make you look like fools?" And he says that as soon as they came out with that nonsense, he was like, "Mm-mm." So he's been trying, but it's not really a breaking point.
He's an actor. He's putting on an act, man. You can't say that he's trying. Like, oh, he disregarded this disinfo,
Okay,
but
okay, I won't say
he
he's trying, but
perpetrates this one.
He did make the statement to say that was, total nonsense. Okay, that's all I really want to say. He did make a statement in a video about this no trees on flat Earth being absolute nonsense.
It's kind of the pot
And
calling the kettle black, though, isn't
that are
it?
trying to fool you.
Like,
Well,
who's he to say what's nonsense when he perpetrates it
I'm
and
not going
pushes
to
it?
argue with you on that either, Tim.
I know. You know what? It was a good chat. We'll definitely have to do another. I'm gonna probably rip this and put it on my channel if you're okay with that. Obviously. Are you? You might be muted. She dropped. Anyway, that was interesting. I always had a suspicion on old Matt Boylan, and always will remain suspicious and skeptical of these characters. And as much as they tell me that they believe it, it's hard for me to really believe them, because there's just maybe I haven't experienced this in my life where I'm just so dogmatic towards this belief or something. Maybe I did with 9/11, and pitching that to my parents on a 10-hour drive, that turned out really nice a long time ago. So yeah, you never know. Like I said, I mean, it's my personal opinion that people that continue to put on an act, a fictitious act that ends up hurting people in the end, should probably stop it and try to recuperate some of their status of being a legitimate human being, truthfully. And that's just my view. I really, I mean, that's why I was in the whole truth or troll community, and I still am like trying to poke it, because I really wanted to know the truth. Oh, this guy's saying it's flat and I'm a conspiracy theorist. Well, I'm going to fucking figure this shit out, and I'm going to rage on it if it's flat, because that's ridiculous. But it just didn't happen that way. I hit astronomy first, and if I, it was real quick with astronomy. Because you can go and look up these rotations that happen. There's videos of it, and you can go and watch it yourself. And you got people like Drady over in IPS's comments where he just says, Jason Hornsby, you're a liar. There aren't two celestial poles. It's like, prove it, And then he just goes in straight into ad hom, and I mean, this guy is probably, I don't know, his picture looks like he's an older dude, like 40 or something. So, this is a huge lesson. I think I need to ponder on this tonight a bit, because this is a huge lesson for me. I kind of thought that people grew up as they got older. And personally, me, I'm, I feel as if I still think of myself as a kid. I don't really know why. I act like a kid, a lot of times, and I feel like one, and I never really thought of myself as like a full-blown man for some reason. So then I see these people where, they're just clowns, man. They're kids that are 40 and 50 years old. And they get mad at me, and I don't even troll anymore, really. But they get mad at me and troll me with way more vitriol than I've ever brought anybody, mostly them. Because I've been going after the people that I feel that are perpetrating this. That's why I find issue with Q, that, this is somebody that not only, started this, basically, the perpetration of this flat earth sophism Jihad Trojan horse meme, but he continues to. So, you can say that people learn lessons or whatever, but I don't believe that you learned a lesson when you're still playing games with people's lives. This isn't just entertainment. This isn't George Carlin coming up and doing a bit that everybody's heard because they've watched him before. They're coming to watch George Carlin and be entertained by his bits. And this guy is lying to people in his bits and pretending that it's the truth. And it's beyond mischievous. It's devious. But that's me. Like I said, I really want the truth. I want to know the truth, and I want to know everything. But it's just impossible to know everything. The more that I know, I literally feel that I know nothing. These subjects that we're speaking of, astronomy, astrology, not really astrology, but cosmology, cosmogony, geodesy, all of these things, like everything in life, like I said before, it gets very, very intricate. And, these people that think they've got it all figured out, they don't. And, that's why I bring up some of these terms. It's not because, I'm a smarty pants. It's because you're saying that I have to come on to bring proof of the globe when you seem to not have any research under your belt at all of the globe. You just think because, you were learned in the fourth grade or whatever that there was a sphere. And I mean, some of these people they're saying ask you a question. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, they probably didn't go to any higher learning, and like I've explained before, that my higher learning didn't really entail too much of this detailed stuff, mostly about the Earth, because I guess I was in astronomy, so it was more about the distances and blah de blah. But yeah, all this information, it's like God, that old guy Max Malone, his very last live I was on, and I was on 3 different cameras, and I was dancing with my 9/11 was an inside job shirt. Unfortunately, he removed that. I wish I would have got that. But, these people, they think this is a good argument. Like, oh, man, I asked Google, like, how much curvature should we expect from New York to San Francisco? It's like, what does that prove, dude? Like, nobody thinks in these dumb terms of how much curvature they should see, and mostly from thousands of miles away, because we don't experience that direct point A to point B observation. The observations that we're making are 3-7 mile whatever in front of us or behind us or wherever while we're traveling at each vector of that point that's level to the ground. Okay, it's fucking big Earth, dude. Go travel around if you question that. It's big, boy. But anyway, this has been a great chat with myself here. And thanks, Channel Q, for coming on. Like I said, I don't even really need to say it again, but it's obvious to the people listening probably that he's your friend, and that's cool. That's cool. But at the end of the day, my friend's doing something that is potentially ruining people's lives, and and ostracizing them from the public because somebody's selling an idea and thinking it's fun to be an actor and trick people and lie to people. I don't really care if it was my mom, dude. At that point, I would be on her ass because I don't walk on eggshells with anybody. You know, if I had a friend that was doing that devious shit to thousands of people, he wouldn't be my fucking friend for long if he continued to do it. And that's just me. That's just me. And that's Timothy Osmond. Or Jason Hornsby, if you want to call me that. So anyway, thanks for coming out, folks. This will be on my channel, so definitely like, subscribe, and pay me money because I do so much great work or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, thanks, guys. Have a good one, if I can find my mouse.